the end of an era, ladies and gentlemen. The end of the coronavirus news update. I Phil can't.
Because we could always still, bring up current events about, coronavirus. If there's any sort of recent thing coming out, regarding vaccines. Because that's still, biotech or whatever, But I think it'd be cool to just kind of deviate from that and just start talking about current events.
I was reading a thing about the coronavirus. That new variant. Remember that variant that popped up in India? And it was a variant to look into. Well, it's now a variant for concern, and so now they're telling companies to start working on vaccines that will work with this as well, or checking to make sure that our vaccines work with it, because this thing is dangerous.
Really?
Yeah. I know you can't hear it right now. I'm playing the Soviet national anthem. It's like the only thing I have that's like.
Stop talking. Oh no, you're playing it on your computer.
Yeah. I can't play it because the Stream Deck. I don't know how to get it to work with Discord. I don't know how to get it to work with that.
Well, no, I just know that we experimented with this last week. How I could watch a YouTube video, but you couldn't hear it though.
Yeah, I don't think Discord allows for multi-audio.
Yeah.
For multi-audio inputs. I don't know why, but it doesn't.
Well, I mean, you could make another Discord chat, right?
Theoretically, no.
Another person.
I don't know if I can have multiple Discord windows open, but even if I did, it would probably bog down the.
Well, I mean, you probably could. You just have to be on separate browsers.
Yeah.
Either use Safari and Chrome or something.
Yeah, but it also would probably bog down my Wi-Fi really bad because now you're streaming two.
Yeah, because I do know that's the only way to have multiple emails open at a time.
Well, Google lets you easily switch between them. It makes you open a new tab, but I mean, if you...
No, but I mean, yeah.
But I
switch... you have them both open simultaneously?
Yeah, I opened... actually, on your phone, you can tell it to synchronize all your inboxes, and it'll combine all your inboxes.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either, because now I've got emails from Dr. Sheep and emails to my personal email, and I'm like, I don't know what's what. That also reminds me, let's just do the coronavirus so that we can talk about emails later, because, I can talk about emails forever.
I thought about just making a trash email, where I have all the promotion things, promote everything you sign up for. I never made one.
No,
now I just have all my trash stuff just get sent to the same email that I use every day.
I used my school email for that. My old school...
my school email all gets forwarded to my normal email. That way, on your resume, you should put your Husker email, not your Gmail, just because it looks more official. So I don't want to miss anything important. So
because
my Husker stuff get forwarded to my normal email.
See, most Gmails, they don't look formal, but mine does, because my Gmail is literally my first initial, my middle initial, and then my last name.
What? You talking about your avatar thing?
Oh, no, I also have my avatar set as a little...
Well, no, I'm saying the @Gmail part is not really official.
Oh, I don't know.
It looks better if it says @Huskers.unl or whatever.
I don't like that, Huskers. I don't check the email. I hate it. I hate using Outlook. I do not like Microsoft emails. I refuse to use it. I will never use that Husker email ever again. I have no intention of ever using it again. They can keep sending me emails in all they want. I'm never opening it ever again because I hate it. I despise using it. Gmail is probably, if not the best email service out there. I do not understand why anybody else would want to use anything else. I don't know why my parents
consider more formal.
Whatever. I don't know why my dad continues to use his Windstream email. That thing is so poorly optimized, and it looks like it's from the freaking mid 2000s. It hasn't been updated since then. It looks terrible.
All
It
right,
reminds
continue.
me, actually, it reminds me of the Menards email. It actually looks just like the Menards email, funny enough. Which doesn't surprise me. I mean, it does let you do a lot of things that I guess I don't know if the Windstream email does that, but like the Menards email lets you like file and sort stuff, which is pretty nice. Google has, well, you can archive stuff, but I don't know if you can sort archived emails. Either way, I wouldn't want to sort archived emails unless like there's a fold, unless like I open it up and it's like a file management system, which is not what that is. And the Menards email doesn't do that either. Huh. You know what? Should we design our own email?
No.
Why not? Like,
You can.
I know exactly what would make a perfect email, and I think the whole world could be better for it.
Yeah. And
Anyways,
what's that?
So,
What improvement would you make to Gmail?
so Gmail currently, well, okay, so like the archiving thing, I don't want to have to archive emails as a way to prevent me from deleting them. I want to make a file system. And so then when I open up my inbox or my promotions or whatever inbox I'm in that day, or I just like to have just one inbox, the promotion, because like the promotions and the social, they both end up getting promotions anyways. So it's like, what was the point of having these sorted?
Well, I
It
mean,
doesn't
their
work.
AI isn't the best.
It's, well, part of the problem is Zoom, like something like Zoom, is technically social, and it's a promotion. And so Zoom sends me an email. It's like, well, you know, it does a pretty good job. Truth be told, I just go and clear all those anyways. I really wish there was a way to tell Facebook and Twitter, shut up! I don't want your damn emails.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the obvious solution would be to have a button say, this is not a promotion, this is inbox, this is social, and then that way all future emails related to such would be sent to the corrected category to your preference.
Right. And then also, I want my normal Gmail. I mean, obviously, I don't want it to send it to those files. Like, okay, well, but in the normal inbox, I'd have files. I don't need that anymore. Truth be told, I'm just gonna delete everything. I'm probably just gonna delete all the stuff I have because a lot of it's from college that's pretty useless to me now. Like, I'll keep a few threads. Like, I have a few threads with my old professor, with my old international economics, it's economics of third world countries, professor from Nigeria. I still have his emails in there because, well, I liked him, and if I ever have questions about that kind of stuff, I definitely would, hit him up in an email. I really should get my macro professor because I should ask him if we can get together sometime when the semester starts, because I want to talk to him about the stimulus checks and inflation. I got a lot of questions. It's funny. Macroeconomics did not apply to me at the time, but now it applies to me a lot because this whole coronavirus thing is causing all kinds of economic problems, and I have questions about him for him.
Yeah.
Anyways, 177,487,581 coronavirus cases, 3,840,000 deaths, 161 million recovered. Look at that, it's all trending down, trending down. No way. Okay, yesterday. Here we go. U.S. 12,000 cases yesterday. That seems to be about the same. India 62,000. Oh, Brazil's trending back up. You see that?
Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish we click on the India one, but let's go with the U.S. Yep, 600,000 deaths. That's what the whole headlines were this week. U.S. hit 600,000 deaths, and so, yeah, but that's what that new. Because look at these deaths. These deaths are a lot higher than they used to be. That's because this new variant is so much more deadly than the old variant. Anyways, good old Nebraska, 41 new cases, no deaths. Let's just look at it here, see what the trends are. Yeah, we're petering out. However, I will say active cases seems to be like leveling out, but also kind of trending upwards still. Like, here's our lowest point, but we're trending back up.
I see that.
But no, this
Oh,
corona.
is that that was for the U.S.?
This is for Nebraska.
They're trending up?
Well,
Go to the U.S. graph.
if we look at the U.S. graph, it's still technically going up. I mean, we're at the
Oh, no,
highest.
it's still going to flatline. Go to active cases. Yeah.
Okay,
See, like
so
it's
yeah,
going
it's
down.
going down. So yeah, I guess that is trending down. Yeah. Total deaths, that's flatlining. But new deaths, that's flatlining. But if we can't get this, if we can't get this new variant under control, we're gonna be back to where we were. Oh my god, I can't believe they still have the Wuhan ships and the Wuhan people that were that were in Wuhan or from Wuhan,
Yeah.
and the diamond princess on here still. That's ridiculous.
They're all better.
Huh?
They're all better.
Do you
That's why it's green.
do you remember that though? Like,
That was a long time ago.
that was a long time ago. Well, you know, what I find funny is a lot of people. There was this TikTok where it's like, did any of you expect any of this to happen? None of us took this seriously. Now it's like, wow, and it's like, or it's like, when did you start to take coronavirus seriously? I'm like, the day I heard about it. What?
When did you hear about it?
Sometime in mid-January. I knew I told you about it.
No, I heard it. No, well, see, I had heard about it before that because a friend of mine had sent a video of people in China freaking out about it. And that was like the first week of January. It was like the 6th of January. It was really early.
Oh, okay. So
And
you did.
my friend had sent me a video of like security camera footage of people just running around the streets freaking out about this virus.
Okay, so you did hear it before me, but
Yeah.
I
But I mean, I just kind of, but you see, the video was sent to our like, Snapchat, thing. And I didn't really think much of it until eventually, it started surfacing, that, oh, this is a virus.
well, I
Because
started.
he sends all sorts of videos of just, random stuff.
Mhm.
And so it's a type of thing that fits the profile, like, oh, just another video, just people freaking out. And so I didn't think much of it
Right.
at the time.
So when I started off with memes. Is somebody mowing out or vacuuming?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's an airplane. They were mowing earlier.
Oh, wow.
Right, what you hear right now is probably an airplane.
Wow, that's a very loud airplane. You don't really hear
Well,
airplanes.
we live by the airport.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Lincoln Airport is literally like a couple miles away.
I suppose. Well, anyways,
You can see them landing all the time.
so we when it started, when the whole thing started, like when I first started seeing memes, and I was like, what is this about?
Oh, I also have my window open. That's probably why.
Oh, I started seeing memes. I'm like, what is this? What is going on here? Like, I saw this one where it's like China right now, and like I had seen Plague Inc., so I was just like, is there like a new disease in China? What's going on? And then I finally got the name of the virus or like where it was happening. Instead of just China, and so I went and looked it up, and I'm like, oh. And then I notified you, and I was like, are you seeing this? He's like, and you're like, yeah, I've seen this, and I'm like, well, should we start covering this on the channel? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, but we gotta do this right. We gotta get gas masks. And so we did.
But no, we didn't do that till spring break, though.
No,
That was mid-March.
no, but we got the gas masks in February.
Oh.
We walked around campus in March, but we got the gas masks at the end of January, which is why we didn't.
Oh, yeah. I can remember. I wanted to go to campus with a hazmat suit and a gas mask saying, first case in Nebraska.
Yeah. We were gonna do that, But
Oh no, because we were making jokes about doing that. We made jokes in February or January.
we were making jokes in February.
Because I remember, let's be like, let's walk around and say first case in the U.S. or whatever.
Right, that's why we bought the gas masks in the first place.
That was before the first case in the U.S. was announced. And I said, let's walk around campus saying first case in the U.S. or whatever.
Yeah. And well, we got it. And we got the masks, and well, we didn't have time.
People actually did do that. I saw videos. I don't think they're on. Maybe it was TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, but I've seen videos of people sitting in desk at a classroom in freaking hazmat suits.
So yeah, but I mean, do you remember though that first podcast? It was the end of January, but it didn't go up till February, and it's like we're all gonna freaking die. Well,
yeah, they used to say that all the time. I also remember the time how was it Roger came back from? I don't remember where it was in the timeline, but I know that you were telling me about you had one kid that you were sitting by in your econ class.
Oh yeah!
The professor, and he was like, yeah. So I heard you've been gone, and you heard something about COVID, family, gone, and you're like, I just sat by that kid.
Yeah, that one freaked me out because I was like, oh, wait, what? I mean, he's from Japan, so he was from Japan, but like he had me freaked out. I was just like, bro, what's going on? You haven't. I mean, ever since the semester started, you've been kind of in and out. What's going on here, bud? You okay? And he wasn't feeling well either. That's the thing. He was sick. He was sick too.
And you're like, well, I hope you get better. And you're like, what?
Like, because he was coughing. And I was just like, I'm going to freaking die. I am going to die. I'm going to get corona and die. This is it. This is the end. He did have corona. I didn't. I never got corona because of my. Wait,
was that actually COVID that he had? Or did he get COVID later?
I have no idea. Well, I couldn't talk to the man anymore. He disappeared all the time. And then the semester went AWOL.
Yeah. Do you remember when that was, though? Was that February or January?
That was February, yeah.
It was February.
When this whole thing was starting to escalate really bad.
Because we used to meet at the Union for lunch.
Yep. People, it was so funny because, like, again, everybody's like, so when did you realize Corona was real? I'm like, the day I found out about it. I was like, this is it. This is the end. And everybody was just like, and everybody, no one took it seriously. So then when campus shut down, my roommate, AK or Tex, whatever you want to call him, he looked at me as he was about to walk out the door and he's like, you were right. You were freaking right. He was right. And he's just, and I'm like, and he's just like, I can't believe it. You were right. You told us. You were like, this isn't going to go well, and like this is gonna be rough, and nobody believed me. And then when the university shut down, he was like, he was right. Damn it, he was freaking right. Like the irony. Nobody believed us, Phil. Like, were your friends like, did your friends think this was going to be a thing and we're going to have problems with this? Or were they deniers like mine?
Oh, no, we made jokes about it hoping it got big.
No, I was making jokes about it. My roommates are like...
We were making jokes how we're all going to die. Because we just wanted to, It was our way of diffusing the situation was to joke about it just killing everybody. And, yeah.
So, my roommates, they, I remember we were gathered on the couch one night with their Rondo's girlfriend was there. And Rooster's girlfriend was there. Tex didn't have his girlfriend at the time. And we were all sitting there talking about the corona. It was up late. I think it was like right before the university was going to shut down, I think, or I don't remember when it was, but like, because they were freaking out. My roommates weren't. They didn't. They had not a care in the world. But Rondo's girlfriend, she was kind of freaking out about the whole thing, and they're like, "Well, what do we do?" And I actually was the most rational person there, surprisingly, and I was
You
telling.
said nothing.
Well, I knew all kinds of information, so I was telling them what I knew, and calming them down, and I'm like,
How did you calm them down?
I don't remember, but I did. Um,
Hmm.
and my roommate was like, "You were freaking her out there for a minute," and I'm like, "But I calmed her down. You got to get through the facts that freaks you out, and then you talk about the realism here. Okay? You go through the facts, you go what you know. All right, if you're ever a lot of people don't do the facts. They just tell them what they need to hear and what they should not what they need to hear, what they should hear to calm them down. If you want to calm somebody down, or at least if you want to calm them down rationally without lying to them, without
you're probably going to die tomorrow. Make the most of today.
No, here's what you do. Here's what I do, and a lot of people criticize me for it. But I think if somebody's ever going to do it for me, here's how I want it to be done. I want you to tell me the facts. I don't care what it is. I don't care if those facts freak me out or freak them out. The facts, they do that. But you tell them the facts. And then you tell them the probabilities. You tell them, here's the likelihood of this thing happening. So say somebody's like, we're talking about Alzheimer's. Give me the facts about
100%.
Alzheimer's, and then you give me the probability of getting Alzheimer's. And you tell me it's low. That you're probably not going to get it. Don't worry about it. If you don't have anybody that has Alzheimer's in your family, you're probably not going to get it.
Well,
And Alzheimer's really freaks me out, but that
my grandfather had it.
is that on your mom's side?
Yeah.
Oh, you're screwed. It skips a generation.
It was either my. Wait. No, it would have been my great grandfather.
Oh, so your dad'll get it.
No, my mom would get it.
Oh, right, yeah, your mom will get it.
It would skip. It was my grandfather.
However, I think it's more of a.
So it'd skip. It was my great grandfather. So it'd skip my grandfather, go to my mother, skip me, to my kids.
Yeah, your kids will get it.
Oh.
So you won't get it, thank God. But your mom might get it. But however, it's unlikely that your mom will get it because I think it stays on the. I think it's kind of tied to your gender. So like, if your grandma has it, and if you're a girl, then you'll probably. If your grandma has it, then you'll probably, as a girl, you'll probably get it. But if your grandpa has it and you're a girl, you're probably not gonna get it. I think that's how that works. I think it's kind of. I mean, the chances are diminished. I think, but I think you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a probability you'll still get it. It's just lower.
It's lower than it would be if you were the same gender as your grandparents.
Oh.
So there's a lower probability that if you have sons that they'll get it.
I've actually started doing that too. Well, how I did all my genealogy research?
You're doing genes.
I started doing what?
You're doing genes now?
Oh, I said, how I've been doing genealogy research.
Yeah.
For my family tree. Well, I've started going through now and doing health records.
Yeah. My our health records on on my dad's side, they're interesting. I could die of lots of things. Hard to know. Everybody seems to die prematurely. But it's usually grandma was the only one who died. But she was
naturally.
But she was like that. It would be genetics. Her was the only one to be genetics because she wasn't like. I mean, she was. I heard that she was bigger her whole life until she got older. So I mean, it's possible that her heart was already worn out and shot, and that's what caused the heart attack. But more than likely, it was genetics.
Mm.
So hard to say. But like, I mean, my grandma, and my great grandma, they're both they're both very healthy and they're fine. The one, she's actually doing really bad right now, but she's 100 years old. She's 100 years old, so what do you expect? And I'm not exaggerating. She's actually 100 years old. All right? I'm not exaggerating. She's actually she just turned a century old.
Oh.
So props to her. But no, she kind of gave up, and once she got to about 98, 97, she started giving up. Especially when Corona happened, she was like, "I'm done."
Have you ever talked to her about what it was like living in the 1930s and all
that? No, I mean, truth be told, she knows a lot. I think if you talk to her in Czech, she probably knows Czech better than she knows English, so her English probably isn't even that good. And truth be told, she doesn't really remember anything. And I can't really understand her. She's a bit of a low talker. She's very quiet.
So you need to learn Czech and talk with her.
Well, she's about to die, probably. So
yeah, warm her heart before she dies.
Oh, that's a great idea. The fact that she really can't remember anything, she can't hear. That's the biggest part. She can't really hear. I'd have to write it down. If she could read it, then.
Write it in Czech.
Yeah, let me just go learn Czech for this whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
she
what
speaks
Google's
English.
For.
She speaks English, but I'm pretty sure Czech was her first language. So, even though she's not from Czechoslovakia, she was born here.
Yeah.
Because, well, I don't actually. That's on my grandma's side. I don't know how long her family's been here. Because on my grandpa's side, we've been here 6 generations. I'm 6th.
Yeah. Dennis claimed to know Czech. He claimed to. But from what my dad said, he couldn't really speak it. But
well, anyway,
Rudy and Fred, however, they were fluent.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways,
because Rudy actually had cousins in Czechoslovakia that he would communicate with. He would write letters to them. Now, I don't know. It's obviously been a while since he's, ever been in a spoken environment. But I'm sure that since the fact he can still write it, he obviously learned to speak it as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he could speak it to some degree as well.
Yeah.
Because my dad would tell me that, they'd write back to him, in Czech as well. And he could definitely start to tell the linguistic differences that would start to appear between the words they'd use. Because occasionally they'd use words and, phrases that, he didn't quite understand. Because, as you know, words change over time, linguistic differences. And so he started to notice that. But they were still able to communicate because it was still the same language.
We need to find these cousins and go to the Czech Republic.
Do what?
And visit them.
Well, I actually found records of where the old house was.
That doesn't help.
But I mean, that's a start.
Well,
if we find people that know that are related to the people that lived in that house. Apparently now it's a memorial.
Right. But I mean, the problem, you gotta find, you gotta figure out who these cousins are, and you gotta figure out who they have kids. I'm sure they're as old as he was, so I'm sure they've probably passed on. So you gotta find their kids.
Yeah.
And then
in their case, it'd be like your grandfather's age.
So we need to find their great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
And they might be our age. They could be older than us.
Yep. I don't know.
Maybe the great-great-great-grandchildren.
What I do know, though, is that it's our 3 great-grandfather who was the person who came across. And his son was born in Czechoslovakia, raised in the U.S., and he was fluent.
I guess
obviously.
it would have been my great.
And he would have taught Rudy.
Mine would have been my great grandfather as well. 3 greats.
I heard stories though that on my mom's side though, they were trilingual because you know, they raised Czech. They lived next to what was it, like a Swedish family or a German family? I think it was a German
Probably
family.
German.
They lived next to a German family, and so they became fluent in German. And then they went to school to learn English. The kids did. The kids were trilingual.
And these people were just farmers. Jesus Christ. You know, we might be dumb compared to them. Cause Jesus.
I wonder how I feel like now that we're in the age of technology, I feel like the average IQ, let's look this up. Is the average IQ going down? 'Cause I feel like we may know more facts than our prior generation. But that does not necessarily mean intelligence. I feel like our predecessors.
Nope. Incorrect.
You think?
Nope.
Getting smarter?
Yep. Development. Other than like China, they're a bit of an anomaly. Development trends.
What's happening in China, bro?
Okay, so you have to understand Asia is an anomaly in itself because Asia doing well in school is so like you have to remember. There's a lot of backstory to this. I've done a lot of research on this because I've been very curious about IQs. So IQs with the more developed countries
goes
tend
up
to
3 points every
increase.
decade.
Huh?
Average.
What is this?
3 IQ points per decade.
Okay.
It's called the Flynn effect.
Well, anyways, so here's how this in developed countries, IQs are high, and undeveloped countries they're low, and you're like, but that doesn't make sense. Well, the problem is in undeveloped countries, it's not that they're dumb. It's just that their brains don't get used to their full capacity because they don't need to use it to that capacity. They don't have to go to school and use their brains. They just, they use them on the farm or they use them at their job every day and that's it. They care about themselves and that's it. They don't have to think complexly about things. So the IQ is just naturally lower. They could easily raise them. It won't take much. Better nutrition is the big thing. And just not having to fend for your life every day, that all increases your intelligence right there. So, but in China, hello, we froze. Oh no, did the stupid Wi-Fi go out? God damn it. Technical difficulties, I'll be back with you in a second. And we're back. No, we didn't lose recording, I turned it off so I could troubleshoot. That's the Wi-Fi. That's a whole other story. But anyways,
so the last thing I heard was you talking about how you looked into this.
Right.
IQ.
So in developing countries, nutrition is bad. They don't have to worry about anything besides where's my next meal coming from, when I'm going to get to work if they live in the city.
Yeah.
In developed countries, our nutrition is really good. We don't have to worry about. Typically, don't have to worry about where our next meal is coming from. But again, if you do have to worry, those people's intelligence are naturally lower. They're poor; it's naturally lower. It's just something that's shown. Smarter people are typically more well off. So, anyways,
okay, I follow.
So in China, though, in Asia, it's an anomaly. These countries, they're not as developed as the United States, but they have a higher average IQ. The reason is because they value education and good grades specifically so much higher than anywhere else in the world. The suicide rates are so high in Japan. Not in Japan, but in China's youth, because people. It's a big thing. Like if you don't do well, you're gonna bring shame to our family. and I don't want to see you again. So like that's all.
So all the dumb ones killed themselves.
Well, okay.
I'm sorry, I was making a joke. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Anyways, but so they strive to do as good as possible, and China also standardizes everything, and then also tells you what you're going to do. If you're good at this thing, you're going to do that. Well, that helps with IQ because, well, say you're not very, say you're creative, or say you're good at math, but you want to be a writer. In the U.S., you would just be a writer, and you wouldn't work on your math skills, and so it just diminishes your IQ. In China, well, if you're good at math, they're gonna make you do math. You're gonna do that. You're gonna go work in that field, and you're gonna do that. They make you do that if you're good at it, and so they build your strengths. It's not in the U.S. where you're gonna do what you want to do,
But see, that's the thing, though. There's pros and cons. Cause I feel like doesn't the U.S. kind of lead the world in like research, scientific research, and
innovation? No, but as for for research and stuff, yeah. But we also have the most.
What?
We also have
we have all these minds that we give people opportunities.
Well, we
allow their skills to flourish.
We also import brain power.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have our own natural power. We import it.
A lot of people, when we started the university, they're like, we need more people to go to to universities in the U.S. because China. There's 1.4 billion people there, okay? 1.4 billion people. The normal biological rate at which geniuses are born, they would naturally have more geniuses. Yeah. And there would naturally be more people going to university, even though it's going to be a smaller percentage. They're still going to have more people going to universities. So the U.S., to compensate, because we have a fourth of the population, needs to have 4 times as many people going to universities so that we can keep up. And well, but the U.S., because capital is so abundant. If there's a country in the world where capital is probably the most abundant, it's here. Actually, I think I've seen that statistic. Investment capital is the most abundant here in the U.S.
Yeah.
If you need investment, easiest to get. Maybe not the most abundant, but easiest to get. If you need it, you can get it. There's people willing to shell out cash for stupid things all the time. So.
Oh yeah.
It might not be as abundant as they maybe
because they know they have stupid consumers.
Yeah, because like in Singapore, the capital might be more abundant, but it might not be as easy because they might be a little smarter with it. In the U.S., it's just like, light my cigar with $100 bill. I don't care. I'm exaggerating here. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not. Don't take this as truth. But the U.S., I was talking to my friend from Malaysia, and he's like, well, ours is based off the British system, and the British system is way more standardized than the U.S. And when he came to
education?
Yeah. And when he came to the U.S., he was shocked at the research. There, it's standardization. There is no research. In the U.S., you're taught to do research.
Yeah.
And to, be creative.
Yeah.
Come up with something. That doesn't happen. They just test you on facts over there. They don't ask you to go and do that. That doesn't happen. In the U.S., it's like, yeah, go do this research. Go figure out. Go find the facts. I don't want to teach you the facts. I mean, in high school, they teach you the facts. But in college, we don't teach you. College doesn't teach you facts. They teach you how to get the facts. That's college. It's like algebra. Algebra doesn't teach you math facts. You know all your math facts before you get into algebra. algebra now tells you how to apply those and how to solve for unknown variables. That's the point of algebra. Everyone's like, how is algebra useful? Algebra is the most useful math on the face of the planet. All right? I will argue calculus is not useful for the average Joe. It's not necessary.
I always thought of calculus as just advanced algebra.
Well,
Calculus is practically like algebra 5.
yeah. It's just more algebra, but now it's finding the area under the curve, which is your variable.
It's
which
all
is a
still
lot harder to
algebra
find.
though. You're solving for variables.
Right? Yeah. Now you're solving for the your variables.
It's
are
just
a lot harder to
different
find.
methods. It's just different methods.
Right.
It's still algebra
Right.
in a sense.
But anyways, basic algebra though is fundamental to human society. All right.
Yeah.
When I think it was the Arabs, the Middle East developed algebra. That's why it's called algebra.
Yeah.
They developed algebra. That's wonderful. The Greeks didn't have algebra.
Oh.
Europe didn't have algebra, if I'm not mistaken. Or like base 10, and they had to get that from the Crusades. They got algebra from the Crusades.
the Arabs also invented the concept of zero.
Right?
So they needed because before they just didn't use zero. I think it was just they put nothing there as like because they needed something as a placeholder was the idea.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
think they were also using base 10.
well, yeah,
Or
they
was it
invented base 10.
12? Was it base 10?
I think they invented base 10.
I don't remember because
The Romans did base 12.
yeah.
That's why the inches and
That's
pounds,
why
feet is
yeah.
all base 12, kind of.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So, but
You
I
know,
mean,
to be fair though,
base
I've heard
to base
from
12
many
is better.
people that yeah, because you can do it has more factors is the reason why, and so it makes mental math easier.
I think it's still better base 10.
That is the reason I heard. It makes mental math easier because it has more factors.
Base 10, I think,
Base
is
10 has what 2 and 5, whereas
Yeah.
12 has
4,
2,
3, 2,
3,
6.
4, 6, and that's it.
Yeah,
2, 3, 4, 6.
technically, those, yeah.
So it has 2 more as double, literally double.
The amount of factors,
Not
yeah.
factors.
I mean, that helps with mental math, but also you only have 10 fingers.
Yeah, but what they do is they counted the index finger. They excluded the thumb, and if you look at the top of your finger, they counted the portions between. So you have 3 markings on each finger.
I don't like.
You have 3 sections of each finger. 1, 2, 3, and they have 4 fingers. That's 12. That's how they counted.
That's annoying.
But that's how they did it, though.
Yeah.
You exclude the thumb, 4 fingers, and then you have 3 sections of each finger.
Yeah. But that's exactly why we use base 10 is because
10 fingers. But base 12 has a similar concept.
we
with
just do
fingers.
base 4.
What? I mean, yeah, but that's less useful.
Yeah. Anyways, no, base 2. Screw it.
Base 2.
Base 2.
Base 2. Ones and zeros.
Ones and zeros. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Damn it. Computers do it.
Yeah. They do.
And look what they can do.
They also
I don't
have a higher CPU. I mean, I don't think the average CPU of a human brain can handle these.
I don't think the human brain can run at 4
Maybe they're taught
gigahertz.
from a very young age.
I don't think the human brain even runs at a gigahertz. It might run at a kilohertz. Might.
I don't know.
That's an interesting question.
If you were taught from a young age to count in base 2, I wonder if it'd just be natural.
I don't know if you could do it as fast as like somebody that could do base 10 though.
No, I mean, no, but my point is, because but they still count. You have to teach them how to count and do everything.
Could you
So
imagine?
you don't expose them to any numbers other than 1 and 0. You teach them how to count with just 1 and 0. You go 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1.
1 0 0 1 0 1
Yeah, 1 0
1
0
1 0
1 0
1
1.
1.
Yeah. That's how you teach them to count.
Jesus, that would get unruly really fast.
And so then when they're adding numbers, a number like what we would call 100, obviously that's completely different. Maybe like 1 0 0.
The thing is, though, base 10 is so much more dense than base 2.
Base 12 is even more dense, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a whole.
Because now you have 2 more symbols
Yeah.
to represent the concept of 10. And see, the thing is, it's really kind of interesting. You don't think about it though when you're frozen.
No, I'm just thinking.
Oh, okay. Because that's what happened last time. You were just kind of frozen.
Yeah, I looked at my screen and I saw my mouse stop moving. I'm like, uh-oh.
It's kind of interesting though to think about the base system. Because what we consider the number 10 is really just 1 0.
Yeah.
The concept of 11 is really just 1 1, and then it's 1 2, 1 3, 1 4. You go to 20. It's 2 0,
Right,
2 1,
that's
2
how
2.
base 10 works.
Yes, but it's that
In base 12,
teach
10
them
would
in
be
school.
something else, 11 would be something
Yes.
else, and 12 would be something else, and then it would start
No.
over.
12 would be the new 1 0.
Oh, right, it'd be the new 10.
12 would have the symbols of 10,
Right.
which would be 1 0.
You'd have to come up with
You
something.
just have 2 new symbols, and there already is symbols out there.
You would
I
need
don't know
3
if
new
you use
symbols.
just 8.
Oh, yeah,
But
11 and
they
10.
literally make their own symbols to represent it.
That'd be crazy.
Because, that's the thing, we're so accustomed to the number 9 or the number 7 looking like the way it does. But really all it is just a bunch of lines that someone decided to make and say, let's let this represent 7.
Oh, maybe they
Let's let
bring
this represent 9. So they make their own symbol and say, let's let this represent 11.
I'm assuming it looks...
Sure, it may look strange, but if you were taught from a kid this represents 11, you'd think no different.
I'm sure it looks different than like a... Oh, my brains. I'm sure it looks different than like... I would like, oh, let's do a V, but obviously you don't want to do V because if you use V as a variable, you want to do that. Just like how they use X.
Well,
as a
you
variable
wouldn't use
and for
anything that looks
multiplication,
like
which I don't understand why.
anything that looks like a letter in the Roman alphabet.
We'll never understand why they teach the X at all for multiplication.
Oh,
Just teach the dot.
Yeah. Or write the number together. 4 times 5, just write it next to each other.
That doesn't work.
Write it next
10
to each
times 5, 105. That's not what that says.
other. That is right. 10 times 5.
No, what bugs me
That's right.
is that in Europe and stuff, for decimals, they use commas.
Wait, what?
So in the U.S.,
Oh, yeah,
decimals a dot,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
in the
I
rest
know
of the
that.
world, it's a com. It's the rest of the
I
world,
know
it's a
that.
comma still.
I knew that.
Why? I'm like, that's so.
I learned that I learned that when I started learning Spanish because you learn numbers, and we start learning big numbers. They tell you to separate decimals, like decimal place, with a comma.
Yeah, I was trying to read something one time, and it was amount of money. It was $10.05 basically.
Yeah.
It was 10,05. I'm like, what? Is it supposed to be like 1,000? I'm like, oh wait a minute,
No.
that's a decimal.
Yeah.
Well, how does that work when you start getting, do they? I mean, if you don't
And see,
separate.
I remember this problem because Callis mentioned this problem with one of the survival craft updates because he was having troubles with it failing in other countries, and he didn't realize the problem until he realized that in his code, it depended on if a country was using the comma or decimal to separate, place values. And it caused this huge bug in the system for people in other countries.
So did his country use decimals then?
No. He's born in. I think he lives in the U.S. But he found some workaround.
Oh, I always took it as he didn't live in the U.S., but I guess he did.
Well, maybe he does. Whatever the case is, he eventually found a workaround. But he mentioned it on one of his blog posts.
I have to read that up. But anyways, I'm assuming they don't separate their decimals with commas. They just leave them all congealed together like we do in the U.S.
Well, that is the new... No. So the new system is to completely eliminate it and just not use any commas, and you separate it with a space.
No. No. That's terrible. That's terrible. Are you still there?
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's also kind of like how they teach math these days. It's base math or whatever it is. Whatever they teach now for how children solve problems, it's terrible. Or like I saw a thing, they were comparing how they teach to do multiplication and versus Japan versus China. And Japan, they do this this square, and China does this other way.
Wait, for what?
To do multiplication, they draw a square, and they draw lines and put numbers in each corner. And I'm like, that's so complicated, and I mean, I'm sure it's easy if you're taught it as a young age, but I'm looking at that. That's so complicated and takes up so much space. Both of them take up so much space. It's so inefficient. And then I'm like, looking at what I do, and I'm like, the only problem with the way math is taught in the U.S. is carrying over numbers. That a lot of people that's hard to understand. A lot of kids don't understand that, which is why China and Japan do these other ways, because carrying things over is such a hard thing to learn. However, interestingly enough, if a kid needs to learn base 2 addition, you need to know how to carry things over, because that's essential in base 2.
Yeah.
So what they're teaching works if the kid never has to use base 2. But if you ever have to use base 2 for whatever reason, you're not going to understand how to do it. Me, who knows how to carry numbers over, base 2 was, yes, confusing and counterintuitive to learn, but the carrying over thing, it made sense. And actually, the carry over, when I learned base 2, really, learning a different way of counting or a different language really opens your brain up to realize, holy crap, that's why we do what we do. Like in English, it's why we add ly to make it an adverb, or it's why we add ing to make it a verb. Because in Spanish, those rules are a lot more set, but you have all these different variations of one word, and that is inefficient. The English language...
Actually, I kind of like it. You get so many different ways to reformulate a word. It's kind of cool.
Well,
From a linguistic standpoint, because you can say more with less.
I thought you could say more with less with English. Most of the time when I'm translating English to Spanish gets blown
You can say more... That's because of the way that the grammar works, but word-wise, you can say more with less words.
I suppose so. But
because you get so many different ways to reformulate a verb.
So they break?
Because think about it. Say, I talk. That's literally
They don't have to do
words.
that. They just say, I ate. They don't have to say that. They just you como. You don't have to say yo como.
Exactly. You can literally formulate all those tenses into one word.
But So what? They
Actually, I've kind of started to want to learn like just basic Chinese because Chinese they don't have a past tense.
Oh, good.
They don't conjugate verbs based on tenses. They talk about past events with a word. They use a word for yesterday, and that means past tense.
That is not efficient. Right? Having a word that seems.
They have a word that means they have a word that signifies past tense, but they don't conjugate a verb.
That seems inefficient.
I don't know.
I will say
it seems easier.
It's
easier to wrap your mind around. You don't have to say like I ran,
speed runners
running.
Certain games, speedrunners run games in a certain language. I don't remember what language it is. Because, well, it depends. I guess, no, certain languages. They run, certain games work better in certain languages because it condenses things down versus just English. And so, those few extra frames can really help you in the long run playing this speed run. You know, say the speed run is an hour long. Well, if you're saving yourself a frame every other minute or every few seconds, a few frames every second saves you a lot of time.
But here's the thing I wanted to read to you. The 22nd General Conference of Weight and Measures declared in 2003 that the symbol for the decimal marker should either be the point on the line or a comma on the line. It further reaffirmed that numbers may be divided in groups of 3. In order to facilitate reading, neither dots nor commas are ever inserted in the spaces between groups. This use should have been recommended by technical organizations such as the National Institute of Standards and Technology.
Why?
So they don't use commas or decimals to separate digits.
I could see that that's smart if you have a list of numbers, because when you're making a list of numbers right now, well, you put a comma. Well, if there's no decimal, it kind of looks like the numbers run together. I understand that. I could see it in that sense.
The only thing about it I don't like is that when you put a space, the only thing I don't like about it is that when you put a space, when you go to type that into Word, I want the whole number to appear on one line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want the number to be split amongst 2 lines, should the case ever pop up. Because I could see, I don't know how Word manages that. Because if you type 100 space, and then start typing in it,
I'm sure
it would move the numbers to the next line.
Oh yeah, I'm sure in other countries they have to like change the settings or something. I hope they never teach that, because that's I don't know. This segment has been going on for an hour. The coronavirus segment. So we should probably move on.
I do want to say one other thing. The one thing I wanted to say one other thing though. The one thing I do kind of like though, the one thing I wish we did do, was we use the long scale, because it makes billion, trillion, all those things make much more sense. Because literally, think about the word billion is by billion, 2 millions put together. So a billion in the long scale has with 12 zeros. A million has 6. A billion has 12. A trillion has 6 times 3, 18 zeros.
I was trying to figure that, because I play Egg Inc. and I was trying to figure out, because I'm like, it's septillion. That's how it's super easy to remember big numbers, because it's just based off the prefix.
A trillion in the old scale would have 7 times 6 is 42 zeros in the long scale. Now it's different. Now they divide it by 3. Because how they divide it by 3 is they put the R, they added the R. So a millard is what we consider is our billion. Billard is our trillion.
All right, we can talk about this later because okay. Anyways,